Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest Gold, the best weekly Stardom and Marigold podcast anywhere in the world. I'm as always Alex, and I'm joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody. Happy birthday to my best friend, even though it's yesterday, because today is my friend's birthday, the 11th, but this comes out. It doesn't matter. So shouts out to her. And yeah, a lot of wrestling this fucking weekend, man. A lot of wrestling.
I watched far too much.
I know it doesn't matter, but I mean, she is still an expat, so to speak. How did you feel about Tony versus Mariah?
I literally haven't had time to watch it.
Really?
Between Marigold, Stardom, Sareee-ISM, the Barb stuff, like I literally haven't even had a chance. I had to watch Momo as well and her 2 matches. So like all the stuff for this show took precedent over all the stuff that I was interested in.
See, in the past, like what? Oh my God. I've watched like 100 matches in the past week, or something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah, I've watched a lot. Because yeah, like since the start of the month, for example, I have watched legitimately 110 matches. So yeah, and I'm not even like that locked in. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
It just kind of like it was just kind of this weekend happened, and I tried to stay up to date.
that was pretty
But
crazy. Because
but yeah,
CMLL
shout
happened
out.
as well. They had their women's show, so I had to
Oh
like
yeah, I haven't got
try
to
and
see
see
that yet.
some of that. Yeah, like
I
it's
did
a
watch
lot.
me, Scott, and Xavier watched Gran Guerrero versus Valiente finally.
Of
Um,
course.
it was great. Like it was really good. I mean, Gran Guerrero, like at first it was kind of a joke because he's the world champion that never gets on their weekly show.
Hmm.
Um, but like after you watch him a few times, you're just like, oh my, he is legitimately one of the most fun heavyweights like around right now. He's fucking awesome. Nobody gives him any love or respect. He fucking rules. But yeah, shout out to Mariah and Tony. That was a very good match. I was lower than other people on, though
I
I
was going to
still gave
bring
it a
that
vote.
up anyway during a discussion of one of the
Mm,
matches to come. So,
okay.
but yeah, head on over to the 5-star-network.com for all of the latest articles and podcasts from the wonderful world of pro wrestling. And head on over to the 5-Star Network YouTube channel, which is where this and other shows like Actress Stage and No Limit Wrestling go up. There's been a change of plans to No Limit Wrestling. I think you guys are just doing March Madness now and not the 2 shows currently.
Yeah. This
You don't have to
it,
air him out for this
yeah.
one.
No, I'm not going to. It's just
Yeah.
I since we had Scory on VTG, 4-5 years ago, um, I have wanted to have him on another show, and just somehow, some way, things always fall through. And it appears that that is once again the case. So I'm sure at some point this year I will get Scory on No Limit, but it's not to be this month, unfortunately. It seems. So yeah,
Okay.
just March Madness with Scott and Xavier. That'll be coming up. You want to know why we postponed it? We didn't record it last weekend
Why?
or on Friday. Is because there's a certain title match tonight that a certain somebody really wants a new champion and to push her to the moon.
Oh,
So
Stephanie?
um, yeah,
Of
yes,
course.
Scott, not to air him out, is like, man, I kind of just can we just wait? So yeah,
All right. Well, that is some Julia slander, but I will let it slide.
Steph is
Um.
better than Julia in the year of our Lord 2025. Let's be
Oh
frank,
yeah.
man.
No, listen. I'm your number one WWE supporter for women's wrestling, and even I'm just like, what is Julia? What are we doing here? So I get it. Believe
I mean,
me.
what I've seen from her is fine, but it's like Steph is
She
like
doesn't fit.
actively good.
Stephanie
She's like
fits. Julia
Steph
does
is
not fit.
actively very good in NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. It's a strange world we live in, but that is that. We're gonna have to go on to Stardom, and by
Mm.
Stardom I mean everything but Stardom because their wrestlers were very active this past week. I think we should start with obviously the biggest stuff, which was that Momo Watanabe wrestled twice for AEW. She beat Serena Deeb on Collision as part of a heat up match. I ended up not getting to see this one because I was like, I don't really want to see a Serena Deeb Momo Watanabe match. I'm sure it was good, but
You
I have
know,
very little like
it's
motivation.
interesting. Serena Deeb was at one point one of the better wrestlers on the AEW roster,
Yeah.
women's wrestlers at least. That's just not really the case anymore. I think she has uh, plateaued, if not started going downhill, while the women's division has gotten better.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, it was fine. Like I watched it, it was an all right match.
Okay.
Um, it wasn't the best match on that card. They had Dralistico and Hologram kind of go crazy. So it didn't really, um, and depending on your tastes, Garcia and Lee Moriarty was also good. So like even, and you know me, I love Momo, and I expected similarly good things from that match, but it was good. It was just
Okay.
not anything notable.
It's all right. Obviously, the big match then was on AEW Revolution. Mercedes Moné beat Momo Watanabe to retain the TBS Championship. I think it said it went about 18 minutes. Um, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought their New Japan match was better, even though during that point, Mercedes wasn't like clicking yet. She
I
she
have
was
them
like
on
post
the
injury.
same level, uh,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think the New Japan one was a little bit better, even if Mercedes wasn't full on Mercedes. Whereas
Mm.
here, I just thought the crowd wasn't really that great, and I thought Momo's strikes were kind of up until she realized that she could get a reaction by kicking the shit out of Mercedes. They were very light. But yeah, once they got into it, like it was a pretty good match. But definitely, I feel like both of them generally do a lot better.
They both
Um,
wound up having to hurt each other to
Yes,
like
yeah.
get the crowd
Momo
engaged,
Momo
unfortunately.
burst her ankle basically, and
Yeah.
they might have had to rush to the finish. I don't really know, but yeah, she hurt herself there on the
The
move
finish
leading up to the
did
finish.
did get affected by the ankle. Like you could just kind of tell the way that kind of like I didn't expect it to go much longer. Obviously, like it was at its time, but it did feel like the finish was a bit messy in that way. I was happy with it. I thought it was a very good match. Still,
Hmm.
I quite liked it. I'm always happy to see Momo do well, and I hate to jinx it, but I think this year, if it isn't her year, it should be her year. The year of Momo Watanabe, which I was gonna say we'll talk about it later, but we have no
Had a
preview, and
year
she
of
was
Momo
not.
Watanabe, and it was so long ago now that it
She
almost
could. It's been
feels
7 years.
unreal. Yeah,
It's been 7 years since she
crazy.
won the Cindy.
It's absurd. Time is not real.
B Priestley might be on her way back, and she was who she beat in the Cindy final.
Oh my
Um, yeah, like that was the first Stardom show I ever followed. Because I remember like watching the live results, and I was like, "Oh, I know who B Priestley is. She's making a run. That's cool." I didn't know. I didn't know. Um,
No.
I didn't know. I'd
Yeah.
watched WCPW, so I knew who she was, and I was
Oh
like, "Oh,
Lord.
okay, I know that name." Um, but yeah, I think we're not gonna have any other place to talk about Momo. So I think that I said on Twitter, Momo should be the one to take the belt from Saya, because we're at the point where we don't have. It's a similar issue in Marigold, frankly, that we don't have enough main eventers that are red belt material.
Hmm.
There are plenty of Stardom wrestlers. There's like 20 wrestlers who can win the white belt yesterday. Um, and Shuri feels like she is primed up for an IWGP run. We'll talk about her in a minute. Momo's the only one who I feel like isn't a previous champion, isn't Micah, and makes sense for a world championship run. Um,
Best we
because
can
it's
do is
just her and
Carrara,
Micah.
brother. Best we can do is Carrara or Tora again.
See, and that's
I
what I mean.
fear.
Is that it's like I think I said it to I don't remember who I said it to, but 'cause it wasn't Peps. I know me and Peps have talked about this a lot, but uh, it's like it was widescreen that in Stardom you have like presuming the people who are leaving in the next couple months, right? And that by that I mean Mayu and Tam.
Yeah.
Um, presuming that you have Natsuko, Micah, Momo, and Shuri. Like those are the four people who realistically are like, if you put the red belt on them right now, it wouldn't be completely, you know, absurd. I mean, Natsuko
Yeah.
would be, but you get my point. Um, and Momo's just the most interesting option. I think Momo's due a shakeup. I don't think she needs to be in hate anymore. Frankly, I think with Rina getting better and Ruaka getting better, you don't need Momo and hate, and Sai getting better for that matter. You don't need Momo and hate, and I think Momo is due. So I think this was kind of a match that just reminded me that it's like, man, like this was one of her lower forms and it was still very good. Give her the belt. that's that's how this match made me feel.
All right. Well, that's good, but just gotta hope she doesn't get taken by America. That's always the worry.
I
But I
I don't
don't I
think she
don't see
will.
that as a problem. No.
I think Mina is I think Mina is the one that is going to get
Yeah.
taken, and she
No,
isn't so far. So
yeah.
like if they didn't take Mina, they're not taking Momo. That's
No,
kind of
that's
my
true.
thought.
Also, outside of Stardom, on Oz Academy Crimson Vengeance,
Mm.
FWC retained the Oz Tag Championships in the main event over OWC in 20 minutes. This was one that I wanted to see, but I didn't get a chance just because of everything else that was on. Um,
It was fine.
yeah,
I watched
that's
it
kind of
last night.
disappointing. I would have thought it'd be
Yeah,
really good.
yeah, a little bit. I was expecting a bit better. Um, it wasn't like it was funny. Like there were certain funny spots. I didn't think that the funny spots even were like as good as I think they could be,
Hmm.
given the comedic timing and comedic, presence of three of the four, and then the Hazuki obviously being the straight man, who is also very funny in her own right. Um, I thought it could have been a bit more funny. I did think there were some parts that were really funny, like all three of them starting to cry and Hazuki just starting to beat the fuck out of all three of them, including Koguma. And then uh then Momoko poked her in the eyes and Hazuki started crying and Momoko just fucking ran her over. It was like that was great. Um but like when it kind of broke down, I was like expecting a bit more out of Tsuki and Hazuki. Koguma and Momoko did some cool stuff, but none of it really, lived up to what I think these four could do.
Okay. That is, yeah, that's disappointing. Maybe I dodged a bullet by not watching it. Um,
It was
we
also
also,
late last night after watching a shit ton of wrestling, so maybe I
right.
was just, like, a bit less, you
Well,
know,
I haven't seen
uh
much buzz for it at all, and
no.
it's not recommended on Cage
It
Match
certainly
either, so
wasn't a
nobody
great
has made a
match.
case for it. Yeah, so
It
it
certainly
doesn't
wasn't a
seem to have
great
been
match, but
much.
it might have been a bit better than I'm selling it, but yeah, bit of a
Mhm.
disappointer.
All right. We then have the Barb Sasaki Crazy Fest show, which sold out Corkin. So Sai
Mm.
Kamatani, you've got your Flair Thez in dispute. Um, Yeah, they bring a weapon falls count anywhere, a 6-woman tag match. Hazuki, Mai Utani, and Captain Stardom beat Azumi, Mai Sarah, and Starlight Kid in 14 minutes. This was pure comedy bits. Mai Sarah had a big fucking knife and attacked Saida. Or
No,
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 sorry,
first
Captain Stardom.
she had a shoot knife, and
Yes,
Barb's
she
like,
had a shoot knife.
you can't use that.
Yeah,
Get rid of it."
but
And then
she had a
she
bigger
pulled
one
out a comically large knife. Oh, man, that
and
was a good bit.
broke Captain Stardom's sword,
Yeah,
which has
her
gone
her,
viral because a bunch of anime fans think Captain Stardom is an anime character instead. So the spot has gone
or at
viral
least that
for
she
wrong
looks like.
reasons.
Did it go viral? I didn't see that. That's
It
awesome.
has like 700,000 views last I
Holy
saw,
fuck.
which is a
That's
lot.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, well, no, it was because Ida's sword, I'm pretty sure is Guts' sword, isn't it? Or is it Cloud's?
yeah, I have
No,
no
it would be
idea.
Guts.
Whatever
I
it's
think it's
from, I haven't watched it.
I believe
no,
it is
I'm not a
Berserk.
shonen or actiony one
It's
usually.
a seinen. Yeah, action. So yeah.
That was close.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure she had Guts' sword,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, the only wrestler that Utami Hayashishita loves more than Saida is Captain Stardom. Um, so yeah, that was a good
Um,
showing from Captain
the
Stardom.
picture of Utami up on the balcony, like losing her shit for the match, was very fun.
Yeah,
She supports her buddies, but yeah, that was like a fun match on a really weird show.
It was
but there
a
was very little
fascinating show.
going
I
on.
watched the whole thing except for the opener, which was a straight singles with 2025 Kaito Ishida. I'm not
Hey,
watching that.
don't disrespect him. I've never watched him wrestle, but he looks kind of cute. So
Oh,
yeah,
he is, and
okay,
he
great,
was
great.
good. But like the Glate brain rot really got to him.
Damn,
Like some guys in Glate, like they still have it. T-Hawk still very good. Takanori Ito still really good. Kaito, he really like he had a run in AJPW that was really fun a couple years ago, but since then he's just really gone downhill.
right, okay. We need
Yeah.
Shima put down. That's
Oh,
what I've
100%.
decided. Shima needs to be taken out. Like
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
We have
Um,
problems there. Yeah.
yeah. All right. That was that match. The next one involving Stardom was Erina Yamanaka beating Suzuki in 19 minutes in a no DQ TLC match. This is basically Plunder. It wasn't really a death match. It was just kind of uh, a lot of it was just people doing the whole "oh, clap for me, I'm about to do something cool" stuff, and then doing something okay. If you've ever
Which
watched a Dash Tizako Plunder match, you have seen this same match mostly. The only cool shit they did was when they beat each other over the head with the table pieces. That was great. But beyond that, it was mostly just your standard Plunder, where
I will
Suzu
defend
also fucked
this.
up the table spot at one point,
I
which
will
is
defend this in certain
interesting.
instances. Because yeah, you're right, pretty much. But I will say, I think a lot of it kind of got a pass from me because yeah, a lot of it was Suzu being like, "Watch this, I'm gonna fucking, I'm a blade right in front of you. Watch this, I have a gusset plate," and then just like making herself bleed. Um, and like while usually that's a bit hokey, especially when it's most of the match, I also kind of recognize that like even like both in real life and in kayfabe, Suzuki just wants to do death matches. So her finally getting to do death matches again, and she just goes like, "Oh, watch this! I'm gonna jump through a fucking table." Makes complete sense. Usually it's like, well, why aren't you trying to win? Um, but I think in this very specific instance, I completely understood from both perspectives, both a kayfabe and a legitimate perspective. That's like, oh, so that like Suzu's doing this because she wants to feel something again. She has become numb. Uh, and I kind of appreciated it in that way. I didn't think it was like a great plunder match. But I did think it was a lot of fun for what it was. And like it was a very good match that in my opinion it was a very good match that I now look back on as kind of worse because the main event was, masters of the craft doing like like it was like you didn't watch the main event obviously, but Kasai Takeda and Desperado kind of made everything else on the show feel like it was meaningless and fake.
Were you telling me Hiromu getting naked and covered in cake batter or something
Oh,
wasn't
and then
on the level of
then
Desperado bleeding?
somebody spit Jello into his mouth,
Um,
and shoved something up his ass. Yeah,
oh,
felt a bit
right.
felt a bit odd compared. Like it was a real bookends of the show for me. But yeah, I mean the Kasai is just like one of the best ever. But the main event did kind of bring down the Suzurina match because it was, you know, the novelty of Suzu getting to do death matches is similar to the novelty of El Desperado getting to do death matches, but El Desperado has a lot more say and therefore can actually do death matches. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it's just different and it kind of dampened it a little bit, but it was still a fun match. I liked it.
All right. Our last stop then is for Sareee-ISM chapter 8? No, 7. Chapter
7.
7. We had Syuri beating Miku Kanai in 11 minutes. I thought it was a really, really good pushed wrestler versus rookie match where they just kind of traded hard shots. Sayori bled unintentionally because Kanai yeeted her skull at Soriano
She
and
opened up the
reopened
cut.
the cut
Yeah.
from last week. I was like, how does that even happen? How are you so unlucky? That was obviously a botch. Kanai didn't come off the ropes properly and
She
just kind
should
of
do that though.
headbutt. Well, probably not. It's probably
Well,
not
cause,
safe.
because it was like
Um,
like she was going to do like an actual move, but instead she
yeah,
just kind of like
she just
yeeted
torpedoed.
and did
Yeah,
like a back elbow,
it was
quote
no a
unquote.
back skull, a
Yeah,
back
but she
skull.
headbutted her.
It was
Um,
nuts.
Yeah, it was kind of awesome. I
It
like
was.
this match. I like the show
It
in
was really
general.
well done.
Uh, Kara Ito legitimately is having a better year than like
All right, stop.
a lot of people. I hate to admit it.
All right,
Like I
all right.
no, because last year it was a bit, but like this year she had a great tag with the in the Bozilla tag, and this match was like way better than it should have been. The Jagger Ito tag up. Like I expected it to be bad, and it was actually quite good. Um,
Okay.
but that's Ito out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked Miku, and I don't know, Miku's great. Miku Kanai. Um, Shouts out Kanamic. I was a fan of her in Actress. Like I thought she was
Yeah.
pretty cool, but she's really turned it on since she became a pro wrestler. Um, and I appreciate that.
I actually liked that Natsupoi got replaced here. I don't think Natsupoi
I
would have
think Ano
done
did
the
better than
spot as
Natsupoi
well as
could have.
Ano. Yeah, I like Natsupoi getting to be there was cool. She like ring announced
Though
Ano and stuff, but I think Ano was just better at this type of match.
there is a argument to be made that Natsupoi is just so much better outside of Stardom in her modern iteration. Um, I got around to watching the Natsupoi Micah tag in Sendai, and Natsupoi just like works more. Uh, she comes off the page a bit more in other companies than she does in Stardom right now. So yeah,
I think your
I do
sample
think she
size being a match with Chihiro Hashimoto is not very fair
correct, correct, and
because that
I
is
said
Chihiro
that
Hashimoto.
because this is
That
a
is what she
conversation I
does.
had. This is a conversation I had, and I was actually the one to be like, well, I mean, yeah, but Natsupoi and Shiro Hashimoto,
Yeah,
it's like like what do you mean?
yeah.
Um, it's like saying any wrestler's good because they had a good match with like Hokuto. It's like, yeah, who thought? Like crazy. Um, but yeah, no, I think she could have done well in this spot, but I really love a good Ano performance. Like I think when Ano is on her game, she's one of my favorite
Yep.
wrestlers. Um, I wouldn't say this is like, her best shit ever. It was a very good match. It wasn't anything insane, but it's just really fun to watch her when she's on point.
Yeah. Um, and the main event then was the reason we're all here. Sareee and Syuri wrestled to a 30-minute time limit draw. This was a masterful match. Incredible like fight. Syuri has not felt like this in a long time. Syuri was presented as a fucking killer. Even Sareee was like presented as lesser than Syuri. And I haven't seen that form of Syuri in a long time. She was just kicking the shit out of Sareee, really putting the work to her. And it took Sareee doing like full on leg work to like stop getting her shit rocked with
And that
kicks.
legwork was fucking insane too. Like she just
It was
was
good.
just
It was
jumping
good.
on it. Like I really like when Sari's kind of forced into a corner, stylistically, because it's like I think there is a certain subsect of Sari matches that I like and think are great, but are lesser than because it doesn't force Sari to kind of reinvent her wheel. Um, And I think that's like the Utami match. It's kind of the Mayu match from last year. There's one more match from last year that I also was like a fan of, but was kind of like, oh, like you could have uh, pushed her in a different direction, sort of thing. This was one of those matches where like Shuri like pushed Sari to be like a rabid dog and just really go after it. And I'm always happy to see that. Like it was so much fun and so well worked in general. I loved Shuri's confidence and Shuri's how she carried herself here. A lot. One thing I noticed early on was there was obviously a lot of submissions because it's these two. But every time Shuri would get a submission and there would be a rope break, she would just drop it immediately because she didn't feel like she needed the extra seconds of dominance over Sareee. She'll get it later. Like she had this air of confidence that you really haven't seen from Shuri in so long because her last great match anywhere near this level was against Mayu, where Mayu kind of ate her alive. So it really has been so long since Shuri has felt like this like final boss character that she really was there for a while in Stardom and elsewhere. So I was really happy with Shuri's performance in that regard and how it impacted Saree's typical performance to be even better and far better. Because yeah, I really love this match. It was one of the better matches of the year I've seen. One of the better Sareeism main events, even I would say. Um, I would say it's up there with Chihiro Hashimoto 2, up there, not not on the level of the tag, but I would say it is on par with Hashimoto 2 and a bit better than the Mako one from last time around.
Mm.
One of the better. I wasn't expecting it to. Like halfway through, I was like, I feel like this might fall short of the Mako one because I really like the Mako one. Um, and the Chihiro Hashimoto 2 is like maybe my favorite Sareee singles match I've seen. Period. Um, at this point. So I wasn't expecting it to reach those levels, but it got pretty fucking close. It's up there. This match was tremendous.
Yeah, I thought they filled the time pretty well, but
Hmm.
what definitely holds it back from being 1B to Tam Saya was that if they had ended it maybe a few minutes earlier, obviously then you would have had to do a finish, so I get it. But if they had finished it like at the peak of Sari's comeback instead of having to go back and forth for the finish, I think it would have been like top tier.
Yeah,
But I do think
I
that
think
30 is just a big ask for Sareee a lot of the time. I don't think she knows fully what to do in those last 2 or 3 minutes, and you can just tell she's kind of trying to cling for time.
to be fair, most people don't, and I think at some point the breakdown is expected. It's not like anything I hold against it, but I get what you mean. Because yeah, like once I heard the Ipun, the 1 minute left, I was like, okay, so we're not doing anything. And they just kind of like scrambled around for a bit, which is
Yeah.
fine. That's what always happens. Um, but I can get where that might be a bit detrimental for you. But I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. A finish would have made it better, certainly,
Mhm.
but I still have it rated super high. It's
Um, as
it's
it's as it stands on
behind.
Cage Match,
Go ahead.
this is the highest rated match of the last 4 weeks. It is above Mariah May and Tony Storm by
Mhm.
0.15. It is above Cal Fletcher versus Will Ospreay by zero point
As it
0.2.
should.
It is above Saikam Tani versus Tam by a whole like zero point 0.7.
Also fair.
Sai versus Tam is less than 9. What is
I
crazy
gave it an
though,
8.5. The
what is
Saitam.
that's
So
fair.
yeah.
What is crazy though is this is the highest rated match of 2025. Sareee versus Syuri currently stands at 9.67. Gabe Kidd versus Kenny Omega is at 9.62. So
What is, and I don't
yeah,
know if it's even like in the top 10 or whatever. What is Zach versus Goto?
that is sixth, 9.43.
Okay, yeah, because that's still my number one, and that's like that'll be really hard to beat just because of the emotional aspect of it. It wasn't even
Yeah.
like this like unbeatable, match bell to bell, but like Goto's he's Goto. Um, but yeah, I mean this is behind Goto, and that's it for me.
Yeah. I think that rating will come down. Obviously,
Mhm.
your current like it has 50 votes, and Gabe Kidd versus Omega has 1,000. So that's a much larger sample size. And obviously that will come down. I mean, even Sai versus Tam has 150. So there will be people coming along and bringing that down. But as it stands, this is being seen as a masterful match, as an elite tier match. And it's another Sareee match from this year that is that high. She has, I think, 3 matches in the top 20, which is pretty incredible. Only her and Kenny, I think, are there that often. So it says a lot about how good Sareee is this year that she's hitting at that rate, even for a wider fan base like Cage Match, where some people don't love their women's wrestling. Some people are a little bit harsher on it, but she is still kind of rising above the tide.
Yeah, no, I mean it's almost frustrating how good Sareee is, frankly.
Yeah.
Um, Because it's like I mean, I look at my, like, match guide and it's like Victoria Yuzuki is scrapping for every single point she can get, of, like, a good match and, like, and then Sareee has 4 and they're all great. And
Mm.
it's like, "Fuck you, man." Like, what the fuck? Like, that's not fair.
Um, what the draw does though is it leaves us in a weird spot because both of them were making eyes towards the IWGP Women's Championship, and we thought, okay, if there's a winner, they get to challenge Mayu. There was no winner, so I don't know what they do now because I don't. They didn't announce them the Sareeism, so it's not like they're gonna do Mayu versus Sareee for that belt on a Sareeism show. So does Syuri get to challenge? And if Syuri does
I
get to
think
challenge,
Shuri
where?
challenges. I
Because
think
they're
Shuri
running Ota
challenges within the
Ward.
next month,
Okay, but like where?
or not within the next month. By it might be Queendom. What's that card? What's it called?
Oh
The
yeah,
spring
Yokohama
show.
Arena.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
might be
Dream
Yokohama
Queendom.
Arena.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
I always forget which
but
one's Grand Queendom, which one's
Syuri
Dream
is.
Queendom, which one's
I would have
whatever.
thought Syuri would face Konami there, unless they do Kotatsu.
I mean, okay, so here has been my thinking. I expected Shuri to win this match, from the jump, though Saree's build to it made me question it. So
Mm.
I feel vindicated that like Sareee can't just beat Shuri, like that wouldn't make as much sense. So I'm happy with the finish and that result. But I kind of saw Shuri coming out of this match and beating Mayu,
Okay,
and then defending against Konami, and
right.
then losing
Okay,
to Sareee. Maybe not in V2, but ultimately, um, I viewed Shuri Konami as an IWGP feud, waiting to happen, the blow off at least, and then I saw Shuri losing to Sareee down the line. That was kind of my thinking, because I do think Sareee wins the belt before the end of the year. It's kind of like, I hope she does, because if they hold that off, then I don't know if Marigold is ever going to see her on a card again. Because
yeah.
she needs that belt, and she needs to lose that belt before she ever steps foot in the Golden Gardens again. Um, and I still need that Mirai match. So I imagine that Sareee beats Shuri for it. Um, just a matter of when Shuri gets it. But I feel like she's beaten Mayu now. I feel like that makes the most
Okay.
sense.
Well, her and Mayu have been paired off basically all year in tags.
Yeah, and the thing
That's
is
Syuri,
that
Mayu, and
Sareee
Momo.
said specifically, "I can't challenge for the belt right now because I didn't beat you."
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
Shuri said, "Yeah, you're not going to beat me. The belt's hard to get.
Okay.
The belt's hard to get, but you ain't gonna beat me." And so it's like, okay, so this feels like it's Shuri versus Sareee for the belt. Like it doesn't like
Mm.
Mayu, shocker, complete non-factor in the Stardom lore right now. It's
And
just a
she
matter of
chilling.
it's just a
She's
matter of
chill.
how the belt gets taken off of her.
Yeah, and I mean they haven't. They would have announced it for Ota if it was going to happen at the Cinderella opener. Or the Cinderella final. So, and they're not going to
What
run
if it
that in
happened in
Okinawa.
fucking Okinawa? That'd be crazy.
They're
But
definitely
wait,
not running it in
Mayu
Okinawa.
already has a title match in Okinawa,
It's
so
a
that's not gonna
2 day
happen.
thing. There's two
I know, but
shows.
still, that I doubt she gets two title matches.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe they do hold it for Dream Queendom. Even if Mayu, her deal expires at the end of the month, I would imagine out of
She can work
loyalty she would
freelancer.
agree to drop at Queendom. I don't think she's just gonna leave and Medusa the belt. Like she's not gonna do that to Stardom.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could definitely see them just like running it through to Yokohama. That is surprising because I
I will
thought
also
Konami would
say
face Syuri there. So I don't know.
the only it's not even a big show, but the only show that like if we're really looking at this like Mayu is going to Marigold immediately, uh the only show that she would realistically show up at before May isn't a Marigold show.
Oh yeah, the Passion
It's
Produce.
it's
Yeah.
the Nanai show. So it's like realistically she could not step foot in a Marigold ring until after uh the Yokohama Arena show, and you know become a freelancer in at the end of the month or whatever. Assuming that's when her contract's up, becoming a freelancer at the end of the month, working the Nanai show, working Yokohama Arena to drop the belt, and then showing up in Marigold the next month. Like that would make total
Mm.
sense.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. Okay. I'm definitely seeing the vision.
Mm.
Um, before that, anyway, or yeah, though that's all for the Stardom message outside of Stardom. In the news part, the only real news is that Dave Meltzer gave Tam Nakano versus Kamatani from Cork and Hall a 5 stars. After a long drought of women not getting 5 stars, he's done two in the space of a month. I think the
A Nana-Zumi
packs.
match too, which was
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I think the sold out Corkin is a big thing for him. Because obviously both 5 star matches have been 1,500 ish
Yeah,
fans of Corkin. So I'd imagine like the more Stardom runs those kind of big Corkins, the more they're gonna rack those up. But it is just interesting to see he gives two in the space of a month after waiting, was it 3 or 4 years since Syuri and Utami?
four.
Um,
Yeah,
Yeah, so good on them. He did compare them to AJW, which is kind of crazy. I am expecting him to go 5+ on the retirement match. Like I'm no doubts in my mind he's going to go 5+ on that match, whether you like it or not. So just prepare yourselves, Tam, Saya, and Ayers.
I was more annoyed that the trio 2-5 or something like that. I was like, wait, what the fuck? That was better than last month.
Yeah, actually,
Like that, like the consistency,
that's
it
Dave.
ain't there.
What can I
Yeah,
tell
I
you,
don't
man?
know, but like, it. And the thing is that it's like, okay, it wasn't a 5, like that's fine, but like it definitely wasn't 0.75 worse. Like that's not what happened, but nitpicking
That's,
another guy's taste, especially when it's Dave Meltzer in 2025. Like that's hard to do.
yeah.
Yeah,
But that is all for the news as far as I can remember.
good for them.
So we
Good
we
for
are
them
on
though.
to the Cinderella Tournament opening round. This is on Saturday, March 8th, in front of 1,037 people, which was down quite a lot from the opening day last year, but that is to be expected. They didn't really do much on this show, and obviously the Cinderella is now just a rookie breakout tournament, so it was always going to be less than last year. But yeah, just one of the first dips for like a really hot stardom period. Like that's one of their first like, oh, they're down for a big show
Certainly
kind of thing.
justified though.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's like it's so frustrating because like you need to announce these things sooner because it's like I don't know, like if I'm a fan of Stardom and have been for years, right? And I'm in Tokyo, um, or Yokohama, like I'm in the area, I'd be like, oh yeah, I really want to go to the Cinderella tournament, and then I buy tickets, week in advance, and then 5 days in advance, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, none of the wrestlers you care about are in this.
Yeah,
Like I would just not go. Like I like unless I paid fucking $1,000 for the ticket, I'd be like, man, fuck this. That sucks. Not saying that that's what happened one for one, but it's like, I wouldn't go to the show either, frankly.
that is fair. The show opened with Rana Yagami versus Akira. Rana beat Akira in the first round of the tournament in just under 7 minutes with the Cinco Patient, um, which is
That's
the
another
Venus
drum
shoot
thing.
from Casa Fujimoto.
Yeah.
She just took it. It's basically a run up to the top rope and then you turn around and kick them in the face, and it is really
Yeah.
cool, and I like it, and it was a solid to good match.
Yeah, I thought these first two matches surprisingly were actually good. I mean, mainly because of the more advanced wrestler in both of them.
Yes.
In the next one, pretty much exclusively. But I thought Rana and Akira meshed well together. Akira carries herself well enough, like to really make some of these matches good, and she is adding, you know, small things here and there to her repertoire, which is necessary. And yeah, I thought this match was solid.
Our next first round match was Rina beating Yuria. This went 8 minutes when Rina won with the Pink Devil. And I did think this was Yuria's best match of her career. Obviously, it's a
I
very
like
short
the Mayu
career.
match more. I like the Mayu match more, but
Mm,
this was very good.
yeah, but I mean,
That
Rina
wasn't
just
a Yuria
pulled
match
something
though.
out of the job here. Like, the
Yeah.
Rina did so well here to get this out of Yuria. That was kind of my main takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yuria was made to look better here. I think the Mayu match was Mayu wrestling a stick, uh, in the exact way that she would. You know what I mean? Like Yuria was just a, you know, uh,
Yuria was the
body.
broom in the "can they wrestle a broom" conversation.
Exactly. Whereas here, I felt like Rena uplifted Yuria, and Yuria was able to not, hang with Rena, but was able to not sink the ship, which is important. Because yeah, that was a good match. I liked it. Rena is really in form. I said it last week. I'll keep saying it. It's really a shame that she has a unique hometown, because she should just be winning the tournament and challenging at Yokohama.
Yeah,
But she just did that. So I don't, and as much as I love Rena, I don't want to see Rena challenge Kid again next month. Like I feel like, give it some time.
I agree. After that, we had a five-way match. Juvia beat Meisera, Koguma, Waka, and Fukigen Death. She pinned Waka in just under 5 minutes with a tap fascia. Yeah, I skipped that because this was a long
I watched it.
show.
It was whatever.
Yeah. Hazuki and Sareee beat Syuri and Yuno Izumori and the team of Azumi and Suzu Suzuki in 8 minutes. Hazuki rolled up Suzu in 8 minutes with the La Magistral. This was a really, really well done match. I remember being like, holy shit, this is great. A lot of
It was
just
fun.
really well done tag work. The end with Hazuki and Suzu was really good. Suzu did well, Unimon did well. Azumi was in there with Hazuki for a bit as well, and it was cool.
Mhm.
And obviously, I mean, Saida has been a much beloved re-edition since coming back from injury. So just everybody just did well. Like this was really fun.
Yeah, no, I quite like this. I thought it was one of the better matches of the show. Because yeah, it was a lot of fun. I liked what Hazuki was able to do, especially. Suzunazumi is concerning because they started doing they miscommunicated there.
Suzu
And
miscommunication is nonstop. Just go to hate already. Just get it over with.
yeah,
Swap with Momo. We all know it's happening. Just get it
I'm
over with.
not excited about it. But if that's the price I have to pay for Momo to do something, more in this company is Suzu. I'm afraid that's what I'm going to do. One thing about Suzu, very quickly, that I realized while watching that the Barb show is that she's kind of like inverse Onita in that imagine if Onita, while being like a really great um upstart in AJPW, was also doing death matches. And then once he was no longer a great upstart, stopped doing death matches. Um that's where Suzu is. And not saying that she isn't great anymore. I think she still has an incredible upper limit, especially, but a great upper ceiling, so to speak. But it is really wild that it's like I feel like now is when Suzu, like from a career standpoint, and she's only my age, she's 22. It's not like she's old, but I feel like now is when it would have made sense from like a how wrestling careers go, for her to start being like a crazy deathmatch wrestler instead of when she was fucking 18 years old. But that's just a little thought I had while watching the Suzu match at the Barb show. Um, and yeah, I'm worried that she is just going to kind of get relegated, uh, despite being young and great and never holding a single belt in this company. Like I feel like she has more to do, but I do expect her to kind of just go to hate and be Tekla's tag partner.
Back to the Cinderella and more of hate. Azusa Inaba beat Rian in 8 minutes with the Azusa Inaba's sister super, which is sure a name.
No, that's not.
Um, I
Yeah,
don't know.
it was the kick, or no, it was the knee. Wait, yeah, didn't she win with the knee?
Sure. Either
Yeah,
way, this was good because Azusa just
it
beat
was
on
good.
her the entire time. She had like a new robe and maybe a new entrance theme, and it
New
just felt very
nickname,
scaled up. New
Black
nickname,
Princess.
Black
She ain't
Princess,
black.
indeed. um, It was very scaled up presentation, and I appreciate it. And yeah, she just kind of beat on Rian enough to make it good,
She
which
should
is all you
probably
really
win
need
the
to do.
tournament.
Yeah, yeah. Who says no to her versus Starlight Kid?
I don't.
Let's get it. Um, we then had Tabata beat Hina in the first round of Cinderella. She won with the La Immortal in under 6 minutes. This was fun, it was
That's all
alright.
right.
Mai Utani and Momokogo beat Syuri and Saki Kashimo and Mayu pin Saki. It doesn't say
I had to
with
skip
what.
this.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I don't remember
It
actually.
says a sideways shrimp hold, but that is just a
Oh,
roll up.
then yeah, roll up. I think it was
Okay.
roll up.
Sayaka Kurara beat Rocca in 7.5 minutes in the first round of Cinderella via over the top rope elimination. So they protected Rocca to a degree, but yeah, that's her out. And this was a good match for what they did.
Oh,
And then
I didn't
it
like
ended.
it, and there,
Really?
yeah, I wasn't a fan.
It's
And it
interesting.
wasn't because of Ruaka. No, it just didn't really click with me.
That's fair. Miyu Masaki beat Lady C in 2.5 minutes with the Amano Hashidate. This felt like the most old school Cinderella match of the night. Like they just
Hmm.
got in, did their shit, had a roll up, and everybody went, "Whoa!" This was the real like original vibe of this tournament.
Yeah, and it's
So
frustrating because if more matches were like this, I wouldn't feel so annoyed about this.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
Like they were cooking.
Hmm.
You could have given him a few more minutes like you did
Hanako and I got
every
15
other
minutes,
match.
and Lady C got
Yeah,
3 after the match of
that's
her career.
ridiculous.
Like,
You know,
Hanako should be
you
the one
should have given
wrestling for
this
3
one.
minutes. You should be
Hmm.
getting her out of the ring as quick as you can. Like, what are we doing here?
Like that
It's
is what
crazy.
frustrated me because I appreciated that aspect of it. That it was very old school. This was, the original design sort of thing. And I liked it in that way, but every other match was so long. Like not that long.
Mhm.
Well, like most of them are like 6 minutes, but still. Like you could have given this an extra 2 minutes if
Yeah.
none of the other matches were going to go this short. Like it just felt a bit shady. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, Our next match was Maika and Mina Shirakawa beating Natsuko Tora and Thekla in 12 minutes via disqualification. Thekla beat on Maika with the stick to
Thank
get
God I didn't
eliminated.
watch this.
It
I didn't
was
even know it
not.
ended in
It
disqualification.
wasn't very good. Mina and Maika are good at what they do, and Natsuko and Thekla are good at what they do. But it was very boring. The show had so many matches that by this point it was like, all right, just go home. So it was like fine for what Hate does, but yeah, nothing really special. Thekla afterwards like Ara Okada and pulled him over the table. And I think it's really lame to like feud with the booker, especially when he's a dude. He's not going to wrestle, and if he does, it's going to be awful. Like this is
Shouts
such
out Rossi.
American
Ugh.
crap. It is so American pilled crap. I don't care if Thekla hates Tara Okada. Just leave. Just quit. Like I don't care. Um, so everything about that angle was awful. Mina cut a decent promo because Mina is charismatic and good at everything. And I'm glad that Mina is taking the reins for this feud off of Micah mostly because, as I said last week, Micah should be doing something a lot more important than a feud with Tekla. So, yeah, Mina is going to face Tekla one on one. If Tekla wins, she gets a singles match of her choosing. But if Mina wins, Tekla has to apologize and pay her fines.
It's crazy that you said that, because this just means that Tekla's gonna get her Micah match.
Maybe she'll ask for Taro and they'll do a terrible match at Corkin or something. Who knows? Um,
That would
We
be a
then
choice.
we then went from evil to worse. We had a Cinderella Tournament first round match. Hanako and Mai Sakurai wrestled a 15-minute time limit draw, which eliminated both of them from the tournament. Um, it was a fine match. 15
It was
minutes is a
whatever.
lot. Aya Sakura was willing to die for the business, and that kind of saved it. Like she took some crazy bumps for Hanako. But yeah, just not very good. Not what I need from Hanako at this stage in her career.
Hanako, like I often cite Kyoko Inoue as like a pillar of bad in Stardom. And I don't think it's necessarily fair all the time because Kyoko definitely had a lot of high points. She's also had some of the lowest points in that era. Um, but man, it's like Hanako is a lot like Kyoko Inoue, but with like it's all of her worst tendencies and with far worse instincts for the business. Um, it's just really frustrating. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Similar to how it was frustrating with Ami, but Ami, I don't know if Ami was ever like this like I don't know. Maybe I'm just, rose tinting Ami because I kind of miss her. Uh, but I don't know, like it's just Hanako's
Ami
in really
sometimes
bad
had it.
shape.
Like Ami Sourei definitely
Yeah.
sometimes had it, whereas Hanako has briefly
Last
had it and
the
keeps
last
dropping
time
it.
I felt like she had it was against Yuzuki last year.
Oh
Like
wow.
New
Okay.
Year last year.
I
That's the
thought
last
some of
time
the
I
tag
legitimately
league stuff was fine because they paired her with great wrestlers and she like
I
kind of
the
kept up.
second FWC match was very good, but that was just making up for the really bad FWC match they
Mm.
had. So it's like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't know if I'll give that to her. It's hard,
Who's
and
worse,
especially
Hanako or Tekla?
Tekla.
Like,
I
genuinely,
think
who's the worst wrestler,
who's the worst wrestler? Um,
Hanako or Tekla? Because I think Tekla can go, she just doesn't. Whereas Hanako, I don't think can go.
yeah, I think Tekla has proven before. I think Tekla might just be a very young, washed wrestler.
I don't even think she's
Hanako's
washed. I just think she's like is an arse and is just gonna
phoning it in
throw hands. Like I think
forever.
she could wrestle if she wanted to. She just doesn't.
I don't know. I think I would rather watch Hanako than Thekla right
Oh,
now
okay.
because I feel like I still have hope for Hanako. I'm in the back of my mind. I'm just like maybe one day she'll put it together. I don't think Thekla
Mhm.
has any intention of putting it together, which is part of your point. You know what I mean? Is that it's like there is good in Tekla's game. She just doesn't really do it.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas I like Hanako, I still have that like kind of false delusion. That's like maybe if she just kind of like figures some stuff out and just like stops doing some of the stuff she's doing. I feel the worst wrestlers ever don't know how to sell a good Boston Crab when they're doing it. I mean,
Mhm.
like a Boston Crab is integral. For example,
Okay.
you watch Mirai or Dynamite Kansai or name the wrestler do it, and you can tell the difference between that and a Hanako Boston Crab. And it felt like this match, 4 minutes of it was in a Boston Crab. So I noticed. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I noticed that she was not good at doing like she just wasn't selling, like she wasn't giving me what I needed. She was just doing it to hang out for a bit. I don't know. It frustrated me. And all of this is also to say that Aya is great. So this was all the more frustrating.
Yeah.
If it was against a worse wrestler, it'd be like, okay, it was a bad match, whatever. But it's like you're wrestling one of the best rookies in the world right now. And we get 15 minutes of kind of like, some cool stuff, but mostly pretty bland stuff.
Yeah.
That felt like it was going nowhere. And I just don't, it was frustrating.
All right. We continued in the Cinderella first round with our final tournament match. It was Hanan beating Tomoki Inaba in 10 minutes with a backdrop driver. This was everything you could want from these two.
Very
Very,
good
very good
match.
match. Just kind of beat the shit out of each other. Really well
Also,
paced.
I didn't get mad enough in the match before. Why the fuck is there a 15-minute time limit?
I don't know. Woke nonsense.
Bro,
Really.
they reduced the high speed championship time limit to 10 minutes, but the Cindy gets 15?
The
That
Cindy, the year that they run it as a rookie tournament too. The
like
one year where it
everything
makes
is
sense to cap it
contributing
at
to
10
this bad.
minutes.
Yeah, yeah, like that's what I mean is that it's like this is so infuriating. Like this match, I'm sorry, Tomoka and Hanan was a very good match. It was
Hmm.
the best match of the show, I would say. This and the trio, the three-way tag were the two that I liked a lot. Um, my dog is scarfing down some goddamn food and she's like groaning while she's doing it. I was like, damn. Um,
Shit's
yeah, this was
busting.
very good. Yeah, this was very good. I liked it a lot. I was a bit disappointed that Tomoka lost. Um, because as much as I love Hanan, I don't think she should win again, the tournament again.
Tomoka
And now that we're
losing really took away our last like really exciting Cinderella winner because
yeah,
her like winning and facing Kid would have been like awesome. And now we're just staring down the
first
reality of
outsider to
like
ever win the Cindy, that would be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, and now we're staring at the reality of like Carrara winning and asking for a future of Stardom title match, and you're like, okay, sure, I guess. Right, you see your tournament, um, you know,
Yeah, I don't love Inaba going out first round.
mhm,
But I was very happy that they ran this match. So and I mean like be after the show. Obviously, we know what the final four is now. But after the show, I was like, okay, so my hope, last hope is Miyu Amasaki. What
mhm.
happens the next day?
Yeah,
She goes away.
yeah. I have no idea what they're gonna do, but that's for our preview.
Mhm.
The main event of this show was a special tag match. Tam Nakano and Starlight Kid lost to Saya Kamitani and Konami. Konami pinned Kid after in just under 18 minutes with a kick to the face. Um, I thought the Saya Tam stuff was the highlight of this. Obviously, they've basically just honed their preview stuff to a T. Konami and Kid was okay. They went very technical heavy until the end, where they set up Konami as like the vicious, like I'm gonna kick your skull in and beat you kind of stuff, which I thought was really well done. Like the ending really put Konami over strong. But up until then, it was kind of like, all right, this was mostly Tam and Saya doing great stuff, and then Kid and Konami doing okay.
Yeah, I think mileage may vary with this match. I despite my appreciation for their Korakuen match, I still don't love them as like a preview pairing. Like I don't need Saya Tam minutes. Like in fact, I have to hold my breath to dive into it, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it isn't. This wasn't either, in my opinion. I thought it was fine. Like I thought Tam and Saya did pretty baseline stuff, and I thought Kid and Konami was also fine. I think Kid is going to get something out of Konami, if if nobody else can. I think Kid is going to try her goddamn best, and I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, I mean, like Scott told me this was a very good match, and I was like, very good. Well, that's a very is a interesting adjective. Adverb.
I don't know. You okay there?
Very, very parts of speech. Adverb. It's an interesting adverb to call it very good. I don't know. It might have been good, but I don't think it was very good. Like I was like, maybe you're a Phoenix Queen appreciator too much. And I Size fine, but yeah, it was for after a show that I already didn't particularly like. This main event didn't move me much. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
that is totally valid. I can't argue with that. That was that show. A very long show, like 11 matches plus. And then we went on to the Cinderella Tournament 2025 in Korea. They had
What?
685 fans. Sorry, 678 fans. At the Aichi Korea City Industrial Promotion Center.
Korea is Korea, I think,
Oh, Korea. Yeah, that would make sense. But anyway.
instead of Korea. It's a different country.
Okay, I know. All right, chill out. Saida, Mai Utani, and Momo Kogo beat Yuna Mizumori, Tam Nakano, and Aya Sakura. Saida won with just under 11 minutes with a lariat on Unimon, who is turning into a bit of a lost post for some reason. Azusa Inuma beat Akira in nine and a half. Did you watch that?
Missed something.
What?
First of all, I did watch this, and it was good. But you missed two things, or one thing really. Uh, so the night before, Mayu pinned Saki Kashima, and here, the Stars team won. And after this match, Saida and Hanan nominated Peatrock for a title match at the end of the
Ah,
month.
sick. Okay.
Um,
Oh yeah, we're not going to
in
preview that, are we? That's the week
in
after.
Okinawa. No.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay.
So
So yeah, I thought we'd preview it, so I didn't.
no.
Okay.
So this is where, and the reason I bring that up is that Mayu pinning Saki Kashima was the next in line because she pinned Hana.
Yes.
Like she was like, I want the belt. So Mayu just kind of squashing that like a bug, and then getting reverse nominated was interesting. But yeah, this is where that happened. Um, an All Stars title match, a few days before the end of March.
Hmm,
Interesting.
interesting. Um, we then had Azusa Inaba beat Akira in 9.5 minutes with the Azusa Inaba's sister step, or
Good.
surpassing Azusa Inaba's sister. Great name. Hanako beat Yuria in just under 8 minutes with a brainbuster. Then Saki Kashima, Syuri, Hina, and Tomoka Inaba beat Maika, Mina Shirakawa, Wax, Gamma, and Rian. Saki Kashima got the win over Rian with the super hot in 10 minutes. Then we had a
Super
second
hot.
round Cinderella tournament match. Rina beat Tabata in just under 8 minutes with a diving double knee drop. This is okay. Quite technical at points.
You said
But yeah,
we're on Rina and Tabata?
yeah, Rina and Tabata, yes.
Yeah, good. It was fine.
Yeah, I agree. Hanan beat Miyu Masaki in 7 minutes with a backdrop driver to advance from the second round. I thought this was good, but I also thought it would be a lot better. I feel like
Same.
Miyu and Hanan should have a killer match in them, but they didn't really do much killer stuff.
No, I totally agree. That was exactly what I took from this too. Is I thought it was a good match, but I didn't really. I was definitely expecting more.
Okay. Our final second round match was Sakakara beating Rani Agami in just under 12 minutes with a Takameki Falcon's Arrow. Definitely did watch this, and I don't remember much from it other than I
Mm.
remember going, "Wow, Rana is really good." Um, and Carrara is good at like playing off what Rana does and like kicking the shit out of people. But yeah, that was it. I thought Rana should have won because she's better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't take much from this match,
that is fair.
other than oh boy, Sakura's winning this tournament.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll have to do that. Um, our main event was Starlight Kid, Mai Sakurai, Azumi, and Suzuki beating Sai Kamatani, Natsuko Tora, Konami, and Rocca. Kid pinned Konami with the Momo latch because we are 50-50ing
Ugh,
everything.
that was a shoot yawn.
Um, after this match, then we had an interesting promo. Starlight Kid was like, "Hey, Sai, you might retire. We should wrestle as the top two champions in the company." And Sai Kamatani did agree. So they are running a special singles match on the first Okinawa show between Starlight Kid and Sai Kamatani, which is pretty cool.
As
I
they
like that.
should do.
Yeah, I like that in canon wrestlers are like, you might retire. I want to get my shit in. Because
Yeah.
obviously in canon she might lose. Like Tam is likely losing to
Did
us
you
here
say?
in
Did you
reality.
see Shigeo getting very upset with Peps
Yes, I
on
did.
Twitter because Peps said that Tam's retiring, and Shigeo was like, "There's actually a stipulation."
Yeah,
and Peps was like, "No, but like,
yeah. No, I
whatever."
think the Japanese fans are like different to us because a lot of them were like, yeah, like we don't know what might happen. You can't say that for certainty. These English speakers, and we're all just here like, dude, Saya Kamatani is in the prime of her career. If they're gonna let her retire, they are very stupid. Like, like
Yeah,
come on.
especially like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it would be fascinating if they just were like, I said this last week. I think it would be like the craziest shit ever if Saya, like you said, at the peak of her popularity and career, um, maybe not in ring, but at the peak of her popularity, walking out like fat, that would be fascinating. But it's not going to
Yeah.
happen.
She's
But yeah,
literally selling out Corkins. Like
I thought it
you
was,
do not let her retire under any
I thought that was
circumstances.
so funny.
It's
Uh,
great.
but yeah.
She gives a strange man. But yeah, Sai Kamatani and Starlight Kid. That is a nice match to make. That is harkening back to kind of the first standout heel Kamatani match from the
Mm.
quarterfinals of the GP when everybody kind of went, "Oh shit, she's got something." Um, now they are both champions, so
She
I
can
think this
still
could be a good
work.
match.
She
Yeah.
can still work, everybody.
Um, and that is that for the review part. Um, we have stuff to preview, but they haven't really announced much. So there is one show this coming weekend. It is Cinderella Tournament final in Ota Ward. To my knowledge, they've only announced the 4 matches for this, and they're not on schedule. That is fantastic. I will go to the news part instead of the
I
schedule
just
because
saw a tweet that made me upset.
why is it about wrestling or
Oh yeah, it's about wrestling. It's not.
what is it?
Somebody said that Tony Storm is the Dangerous Queen too,
Oh sweet Jesus, we've
because
already
she
had a
bled a
Dangerous
lot.
Queen too.
I know,
Like that is not
and she
allowed.
wasn't that great either.
Wow, harsh.
Talking about
Um,
Julia, right? There's not a Dangerous
yes,
Queen.
yeah,
Okay, that I
yeah.
was forgetting.
Um,
It's like, oh, actually, Mako actually took that nickname. It's like, no, no, that's
so I've
you get my
learned that the semifinals has no time limit in the Cinderella this year. Um, that's new. I know. Obviously, they were never gonna do a draw in
oh,
the
just
semifinals, but it is
because
now not
yeah, so
possible.
that
Yeah,
well, no, they did a draw in the semifinals once before. I'm pretty sure.
and the winner would just win. Like the
No,
finalists
they
wouldn't have
did
to do anything.
they did oh, the semifinal. Wait, no, yeah, no, in the semifinals, yeah.
Oh,
Like on one of the shows that was a one day,
hmm,
um, there were two semifinal matches and one of them went to a draw, so the other semifinal became the final.
was that the Arista year?
I want to say it was. I could have swore it was. I actually don't remember, but it was one of those years. I
Yeah, I
like
don't know.
it might have been the. It wasn't the Momo year. It might have been one of the Mayu years, but it was either
Okay.
Risa or Mayu.
But either way, it is now not allowed to happen, basically, unless they
Mm.
both fall over the top rope, which they won't. But that is a change in the rules. But anyway, March 15th, it's our only show of this weekend for both companies. So it's a nice, easy week for us after the hell of this past weekend. We start with a special singles match, Mina Shirakawa versus Thekla. Stipulation being that if Thekla loses, she has to apologize and pay her fines. If Thekla wins, she gets any singles match of her choosing with anybody from Stardom. Most signs point to Thekla winning and getting to demand a match with somebody. So I'd imagine that's how that'll pan out.
Yes.
Okay. The Cinderella Tournament semi-final: Sayaka Kurara versus Azusa Inaba. Yeah, I mean, Sayaka Kurara winning seems to be what a lot of people are going with. I think her and Rina maybe as a final makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Like Hate versus Cosmic Angels continued. And that's a strong win for her to get over Rina. Then I just don't know what Kurara challenges for, because she's not a Yokohama white belt challenger. But like
I don't know,
she's
man.
not.
I
She doesn't
got
have a
I
tag
got yelled
team.
at. I got yelled at by my friends for saying that Jey Uso was challenging Gunther. Anybody can challenge for the secondary belt on the biggest show of the year if you have a big star.
No, that's true, but I don't think Kurara and Kid really fits.
Moves anybody? Yeah, no.
No.
Um, Ferrari in
Azusa
general
obviously
popular,
could, because
but
Azusa is like a runaway train and is like a long reigning blood tag champ and stuff like that. So she's got credibility. But
we also
Kurara,
forget that Haruka Umasaki challenged on the biggest show of the year a few years
that
ago.
is true. That is true. But I don't know. I think if Kurara won this tournament, she would just use it to challenge Hina instead of one of the main belts. So I don't know if
Yeah.
she has it. I like the idea of an Azusa Arena final. I think that would be fun.
That would be ideal, I would
Yeah,
say.
like the tag partners colliding, and then like
Unless Hanan
Azusa
is just
winning.
winning, which ultimately is not like I think it's the most sensible option, even though I don't necessarily love it because I don't need another repeat champ of this tournament. I think it's kind of yeah. But I think Hanan makes the most sense if we're talking about like who can challenge Kid and it be a big time match. It's Hanan at Yokohama Arena. Like, like that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who wins this. I feel like my preference would go Azusa, Hanan, Rina, and then Sakurai. Though Sakurai probably over Rina because Rina just challenged, so it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Like Rina and Azusa can use it for the tag belts if they wanted to. Like Rina can be
I
like,
don't know
"Hey,
if
I
they're
want to
gonna do
challenge my
that. I mean,
sister."
actually, I don't really know. We'll see.
Yeah, but I think Rina could be like, "Oh, I want to challenge Wingori." Like her sister. That
Mm.
would make that would be easy to do. If Rina or Azusa won, and you don't have to cash it in at Yokohama Arena. I'm just not sure. Like Okinawa has two of the belts already kind of occupied, so I don't know where else they would challenge if not Okinawa or Yokohama. So that kind of limits the options to a degree.
Mm. Oh wait,
Um,
there's a niter. There's a niter.
okay. Hmm.
Beginning next month. There's one more Corkin.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. Maybe Carraro does win in this challenge for the future then at the Niter.
I could see her
Then they're
challenging
running New Blood
for the
soon.
Wonder at the niter.
No, I don't think Kid would defend again that quickly.
She probably should. Needs to start padding the stats, man.
I don't know.
She's
I'm
on my
interested.
fantasy team. I want her to start padding
Maybe
the
Hanan.
stats.
I don't know. Maybe Hanan wins and asks for an artist match. Like, I don't know.
If Hanan wins, she's challenging Kid at Yokohama. Like that's easy. Like that is a
That would
match that
rock.
fits there.
Yeah, I guess maybe they might do that. I just would be hesitant to have her lose the Kid. But I don't know. Yeah.
The thing that sucks is the thing that sucks about that is that the goddess titles won't be on it,
Yeah, but
and
I
neither will
mean,
the artists
I don't think
because
most of the belts will be on it.
yeah.
Especially because they're probably putting Micah Hash on there.
Mm.
And
Yeah, but like
Syuri
ideally,
Mayu.
I would put Wingori versus FWC on that show.
Oh, that's true. Actually, we were kind of thinking that would be a logical next step for. Yeah, I have no idea. Honestly, they haven't really like showed their hand at all with the Cinderella. Like it could
No.
legitimately go to a future of Stardom title
And
match
frankly, I don't
or
I
a tag
don't
title
love
match.
any of these options.
Well, I love
Realistically, I think
Azusa.
Azusa would be
Yeah,
cool, but I
she's
don't think
like
Azusa's gonna do it.
awesome. No.
Yeah.
Well, hmm, yeah. I just genuinely have no idea who's winning the Cinderella this time.
Me
Like I
neither.
just have no clue. Which is fun, we'll get to watch it all unravel. But yeah, I would most like an Azusa Arena final. I think you could maybe
Mm.
spin that into a tag title match or something, which I think would work. Arena trying to beat her sister for the tag
The
belts
power of
is
friendship.
easy.
The power of friendship,
Yeah.
leads, yeah.
Or if they do it at like the nighter, then Hanan could ask for an artist match or something because the Parkin seems to be the home of the artist belts now. And I think Hanan, maybe FWC versus that Neo Genesis crew would be awesome. So you could easily run that. But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. We then have the Wonder of Stardom Championship match. Starlight Kid defends against Konami. Starlight Kid will retain here. I don't think Konami is getting this belt.
No.
So yeah, that's
God, man.
Kid winning.
Again, it'd be 6 for this one. Imagine 6 years ago, uh, telling, like, me that, Starlight Kid would have the belt and Konami would still be challenging for it and definitely losing. Like,
Yeah.
there would have been no movement for Konami. If anything, it's just gotten worse for her. Um, like, there's even less hope of her ever winning it, now than ever. Like, I think that's
Well,
wild.
that is the joys. Oh, we did forget one thing about Stardom wrestlers outside of Stardom, and I knew this would happen. Micah was announced for Bloodsport on WrestleMania
Yeah,
weekend.
that's true.
Now, I didn't bring this up because Bloodsport is not good, and it has not been
I
good
like Bloodsport.
like almost
It
ever.
hasn't been good in a while.
And people only liked the first ones because it was different and because the Japanese dudes bailed them out, like Takeda or something bailed them out on that first one like crazy. Um, but Micah versus either
Suzuki
Janai
used to be great
Kai
on him.
or Natalia does not move me at all when you're taking away all of Micah's shit. You are asking her to just do judo with Janai Kai. I have no interest. And obviously, I
No,
don't know if she's gonna wrestle Janai Kai, but she's just like the chosen. You're gonna wrestle the Japanese woman for every company.
Janai
So
Kai is not going to Vegas.
is she
Nobody has
not?
booked her.
Wow, that is
And
weird.
and everybody was like, "Wait, what the fuck do you like? You're one of the like top 10 women in the country. There are no women here. What are you talking on the Indies, obviously? Like, what are you talking about?" But yeah, she hasn't been booked yet for
Okay.
that,
Well
as
then,
far
yeah, I
as
don't
I
know who
know.
Micah's gonna face unless she does
Um,
get Natalia.
it's
But
it's Natalia or Miyu Yamashita currently.
there is
Um,
no chance of me Mashita. Oh, they probably fucking add Marina, won't they? Did they do Marina Shafir?
yeah, Marina's on all of them.
Oh, dude, imagine Micah versus Marina Shafir. Oh
Okay,
dear
so
God.
for me, like, I think Micah, and this is me coping partially, I think Micah is one of the only people that could actually bring something interesting to Bloodsport
No.
because she can't do any of the, like, heavyweight shit
No, look, we're
that
far
she
past
usually
the
does.
need for the fake hybrid stuff. Either just go in all in or don't. Like I'm not a fan.
See, we
Looks like
fundamentally
stuff.
disagree on this. Uh, I think if Micah just fucking tosses motherfuckers
She
with judo
won't.
throws, I think it'd be cool.
That's not how they do it. It's all
They did it in the
slow
judo jacket
and
match. That's what I mean. Oh, the women's matches are either like 20 minutes or they're 5. The 5-minute ones are always good. Not always good.
oh,
Usually good.
I don't know. I just have no interest in seeing Micah on Bloodsport. I have no interest in seeing
Micah Ma-
anyone in Bloodsport. This is not
Micah
anti-Micah.
versus Masha in Bloodsport would be good. It's
No,
not gonna
because
happen.
just run it normally. Like that's the problem with all of the matches, is they'd be much better normally. Normally,
I
I would be morbidly
disagree.
curious
I
for
no,
Micah
I
versus
think
Natalia.
I
I don't
think
want to see
I
Micah
think
versus Natalia in Bloodsport.
I think Micah versus Masha moves me more as a Bloodsport match than it would
That's
as
just
a
you're
singles.
weird.
Well,
Anyway,
no, it's because they would
we're
just
done
fucking
with
beat the fuck out
Stardom.
of each other.
Stardom is finished. We are done. It took us a long time. We are
Mm.
finito for Stardom. We are going on to the Dream Star Fighting Marigold. I've completely forgotten almost everything to do with Marigold, so we're gonna have a fun time here.
Which
I
is
don't
funny
think there
because like
was.
we were like, let's get to Marigold. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
There is.
and we did not. So I don't think there's anything with Marigold wrestlers outside of Marigold. They haven't announced the Nanai match for Ice Ribbon yet, so that's kind of our
No.
next kind of big one. And she hasn't showed up anywhere else, so it's been quiet on that front. No news
Mako's
from
showing up
Marigold.
everywhere. Mako is getting all of her she forgot to book intergender matches, and she forgot that that was, like, a big part of
Yeah,
her last 10 years of her career. So she's like, "Oh, shit, I need to get some some out." So she's doing Keno and Suzuki both in, like, the
that is
next
chill.
month. Yeah, I'm
Um,
fucking with it.
I guess slightly related to Marigold, they did announce that Monday Magic is coming back.
Mhm.
With Marigold and Marvelous taking off, I think they could probably feature on Monday Magic again. But obviously, I
I
think
feel
last
like
season was very underwhelming as far as the Joshi stuff
yes.
went. It was kind of just there.
If you
So
noticed, Goto and Takumi paired off in the whole, kerfuffle. So I
yeah.
imagine that was meant to be Koki, like,
Oh yeah, for
effectively.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Akoki is due back just before it comes back. It starts, I think, the 29th. Which
Of
is
when,
just
May
after,
or
yeah, like
okay,
just after the Glorious celebration. So Koki should be just back um
defend her boat.
to be featured on Monday Magic. Um, but yeah, that's the news. We have 3 shows to review in part. The first one was on the 8th of March, as in the 176 box. We opened with Chikagoto versus Ryoko Sakimura in just under 7 minutes. I tried to watch Ryoko as much as I can just to see what she's like. And again, not super impressed with her here. I thought Chica did well as the leader of the match, but it definitely wasn't anything spectacular.
Oh, I took the weekend off from the rookies,
That is
except for
fair.
Yuki Minami, who just ended up being in matches I was interested in,
Yeah.
um, in singles. But yeah, I otherwise, like, I didn't see any Riara or Rhea or
Okay.
Ryoko, really.
Flying Penguin and Rei Seto beat Naoshikawa and Riara in just under 8 minutes, and yeah, I wasn't about to do that. Victoria Yuzuki beat Minami Yuki in just under 7 minutes.
This was good.
Workhorse Victoria, big ups.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought this was good. Yuki Minami is becoming better, like, I would argue.
Every time
She
somebody says that to me, she has a absolute stinker, like
knock on wood.
right after, and she's just
Yeah.
so inconsistent.
Yeah, no, you're right, but I thought this was solid enough.
It's good.
'Cause yeah, I thought Yuzuki's fucking great, let's be frank.
Yeah, she's the workhorse.
Yeah.
Um,
She really got something out of Minami. It also didn't go too long, which I
yeah,
was a bit
seven
worried
minutes
about.
is chill.
Yeah, it felt like a breeze.
Erina Yamanaka made her debut as she teamed with Mai Sakurai and Miko Aono to beat Chiaki, Megaton, and Misa Matsui in 14 minutes. Erina pinned Megaton to get the win for her team and challenged Mai Sakurai to a white belt match immediately after. I thought
If I had
Erina
a
looked
nickel
very well.
if I had a nickel for every time my Sakurai's teammate, who debuted in the company on that day challenged her for the belt after winning the match for the team, I'd have 2 nickels.
Yeah, fascinating.
Mhm,
Um, Arena was very rusty. I think she
mhm.
showed the outlines of some good stuff, but in general just wasn't up to the pace. And they had her in there with Megaton for like the closing stretch, and you could just tell they weren't going to work. So Arena, I'm still hopeful, but I definitely think she's gonna have to wrestle a lot more to get into the swing of things. Because I don't think Best Body Japan runs all that much, and she does
They
not
don't.
wrestle anywhere else as far as I'm aware.
She
So,
does. She wrestles on smaller indies, though,
all
like,
right, yeah, I
once in
mean,
a blue moon.
yeah, like you're not wrestling anybody on the level of Chiaki or Matsui on those kinds
Like,
of
she
shows, I'd
she
imagine.
just wrestled, uh, who was it? I don't remember. Oh, yeah, she wrestled, it doesn't matter. Who am I kidding?
I don't know. I mean,
She wrestled on the Yappy show.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's what it
wrestled
was.
Yara in a three-way.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
I
fun.
thought I knew the 3rd person, but I did not. The
No,
Morio
Moriano.
MOA.
That seems like one of the cosplay wrestlers.
Mm,
And they have a lot of
potentially.
those floating around where they like look vaguely like them and have similar names, but they're not actually them. Um, but yeah, I don't know. She was definitely just rusty though. She didn't look great in this one, but she showed like some promise. She is still kind of mothering, so I'm all right for now.
Yeah, I mean, she's
Um,
wrestled like every other month for the past year,
yeah,
like once every other month. So it's like, you know,
she'll
can't
get
really
there.
fault her. Yeah, I'm,
She's
I'm
here
hoping she
regular
just
enough.
gets reps in. I mean, it won't be in time for the title match. That's a bit of a dangerous game because of
Yes.
but so for the best here.
Our next match was Nanae Takahashi beating Natsumi Suzuki in 16 minutes. I thought this got really
Mhm.
good when it hit the finishing stretch, and they
Yeah,
both got a lot more intense. I thought the opening stuff was very pedestrian. But I like
that was alright.
once Shozuki was kind of pushed to the wall, I thought she really fired up and got going.
Yeah, they went to the outside and they had some fun stuff, but yeah, I would agree that the second half was definitely like when it amped up big time.
Um, and then Darkness Revolution beat MIRAI and Utami. Bozilla got to beat Utami in just under 15 minutes and cut a promo talking about how she's going to
With the
beat
chair
Utami
shot
for the
and
belt.
a pile driver.
That is based.
Yep.
All right. Our
I
next
was really
show.
bummed I didn't get to watch this match because I didn't have
That is
time.
fair. Our next show was on the 9th of March in the Chunichi Hall. This had Naoya Ishikawa and Rei Sato beating Minami Yuki and Ryoko Sakumura in just under 6 minutes. Bozilla then beat Riara in
What
five
has
and a
what has
half
Now
minutes.
been doing? Because I only watched the Gigta match of Now
Oh,
this
I have
past
no
weekend.
idea, honestly.
How
I
was
think
she
she's
otherwise?
both of them. I didn't
I know
watch
she's
any of
both
it.
of them, but like I remember last weekend they were doing bits where it's like, "Hey, aren't you Gigaton?" like
Yeah,
type of thing. Um, but I don't know if they did it this weekend because yeah, I didn't get the chance to watch either for undercard matches.
that
It's a
is
shame.
fair. Chiki Goto, Erina Yamanaka, Miko Ono, and Natsumi Suzuki beat Chiaki, Megaton, and Misamatsui and Nagisa Nozaki in 10.5 minutes. I cannot fully remember, but I think Shozuki got the win for the team in this one.
Shizuki beat Megaton, and then she started
Yes,
beating the fuck out of Megaton after the bell.
she did. I thought Arena looked better here against Nozaki, but she got a lot less spotlight. I think
Yes.
the first tag, Arena got a lot of ring time, which obviously felt like hey, get out there and just get your reps in. Here, it just felt like she was part of the tag, and not like the focus.
Mhm.
And I thought she looked better, but still definitely not the Arena that I know she can be from Actress. So, positive sign, but definitely still not there yet.
Just gotta hope for the best on that. Yeah.
Yes. We then had Mai Sakurai and MIRAI wrestle to a 15-minute time limit draw. I watched this earlier today and I was very disappointed. It was very boring. They just never got out of second gear. They
Yeah.
clearly were holding a lot back for an eventual title match. Like they did absolutely none of their usual shit.
Yeah, I mean, I brought it up that it's like Mariah didn't even like grapple her way out of this. They just didn't. It felt very My Sakurai versus Tam Nakano, I would say,
Okay.
where like their matches very frequently felt like there was an air of things happening, but nothing actually happened.
Right.
Luckily, Mirai is a better wrestler than Tam Nakano, so this was a bit better for my my taste. But yeah, I thought that this was a bit of a downer. I still thought it was a good match fundamentally, but it felt like my Sakurai kind of falling back on her stardom habits, the bad ones, especially. Um,
Okay.
and Mirai wasn't really up to like you know strong arming this into being great or
Yeah.
anything. She was just kind of there. So it was definitely disappointing, but I don't think that like it's an indictment on this team or on this combo. Uh, I think they can have a good match, and they probably will this year. But I don't. This was not it. It was it was a good match, but not a great match. I think they could have a very very good match at least
All
at
right.
some point.
Utami Hayashishita beat Victoria Yuzuki in just under 14 minutes in our main event. They also didn't get out of second gear, but their second gear is much better. So this was like good, but
Yeah, and
again, they left a lot
they
on
were
the
both
table.
oh yeah, definitely. But they were both a bit more energized. In part, it's Yuzuki's hometown. There
Yeah,
was a little Yuzuki section of the crowd with fan
that's fair.
signs. That was nice. Um, and yeah, Utami likes wrestling people that she likes. Shocker. And kind of letting them get their shit in. So yeah, this was a step up certainly from my Sakura Mirai, but it wasn't anything insane. It's also Nagoya, It's a small. It's
Yeah.
Shunichi's Hall in Nagoya. Even I've seen them try harder, and it was good. I quite liked it, but it definitely could have been better.
No, that's fair. We then got on to today's show, which was Marigold Spring Victory Series 2025 in Shinjuku FACE. They did 305 fans here. They've steadily kind of gone down in attendances at FACE, which I think is not a great sign. Obviously,
There
you're never going
wasn't
to
any title
outdraw.
matches, to be fair.
Yeah, but you still did Nanai versus Yuzuki. I think you still gave people a reason to show up, and also the
I'm not gonna
Kazuna
lie.
come back.
I think Yuzuki versus Sareee would have gotten more.
Possibly, and I guess we'll only know at Cork and maybe, but I would maybe have alarm bells at that 305 if I was
Hmm.
Rossi. I'd be like, oh shit. Um, yeah, that's that.
Well, he
In our
picked up the
opener,
red phone
yeah, he did.
that that called his old friend. So
Rei Sato beat Ryoko Sakimura in a three-way match that also involved Natsumi Shozuki. I missed this one on the live stream
same.
and I didn't get to go back. Mirai beat Minami Yuki in just under 10 minutes with the Mirai shock. Yeah, Mirai tried to get stuff out of Minami and Minami puts in effort and can play that role. But yeah, she's not like amazing either. But I thought they did
Kind
well for what it
we kind
was.
of talked about with Scott this morning. That it's kind of obvious that Yuki Minami just kind of took over Komomo Minami's spot, because Komomo got hurt. And I do think that is one thing that kind of hurts Yuki Minami, is that Komomo Minami was really looking good heading into that Rookie of the Year tournament, and then got hurt right before it and couldn't be in it and can't do the storyline now. So that kind of stinks, just to kind of think of that. But I did think this was good. I thought Mirai lifted her up very well, and I feel like Mirai just has a very good presence against younger wrestlers, where it feels like she's just, you know, it feels like she's lifting them up to fucking choke slam them to the ground. You know, I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. That
Um,
vibe of a match it works.
Yeah, no, I actually remember asking. I was like, "What is the end goal of this Yuki Minami stuff?" And I think they did just get forced into using her instead of Komomo, and so now they're just kind of here with it.
It's even
But
possible that they were going to do both of them and have them
maybe,
trade
but
off
like,
on having these huge matches.
there's nothing for them to get at the end of it, though. That's my thing. Like, she doesn't feel like she's
The
being
Superfly
primed for
title
a big
match.
white belt match or like the Superfly. She's just kind of constantly being like, "Well, I'm the rookie of the year. I am the flag holder," and I just
Like
don't
I
know
said,
how that goes somewhere.
I think it's similar to like Miyu Yamasaki's 5 match series that went on for a year and a half. Um,
Yeah, but there was something for Miyu to win at the end of that. Like there was a goal for her.
win. What was it?
Well, her goal was to like become champion and have a belt in Kyoto or whatever, wherever she's from. But like,
She didn't get the championship until like last year.
yeah, but she's still a goal and like something to win.
Like
But there's
recently,
nothing
not
there for
even last
Minami
year.
Yuki.
Wasn't that
But there
wasn't
was
that like
still
3 months
a
ago?
conceivable thing for her to win at the end of that road.
Yuka Minami's goal is the Superfly belt. It's not
Is
conceivable. She's not
she
going to win anytime
actually
soon.
super flyweight? She looks
Yeah.
too tall.
No, she's underweight.
Really? Okay. I would have thought she's too tall to fit. All right. Well, I guess. Um. Anyway, next match.
I mean,
Nagisa Nozaki.
after the match with Yuzuki was posturing like, "Come and get
Oh
me."
yeah. Shit. Yeah. Okay. Nagisa Nozaki beat the returning Kazuna Tanaka in just under 11 minutes with the Lancer. Um. Kazuna was tearing up before the match even started.
And
Clearly
Tommy was like,
happy to be
"Oh
back.
my god, this girl again." Like Tommy was so like, "Fucking
Tommy was like, I thought I got away from
grow
you,
up."
man."
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought they did really well with this. It wasn't like a good match in your standard sense, but it was just like Kazuna just coming back, clearly not with it, trying her best against a ruthless Nagisa Nozaki. Like,
Mhm.
Nozaki is perfect for this kind of match because she's not going to give her any mercy. And you could just see that in the way she was moving and expressing herself. So I thought they did really well here to make Nozaki just kind of look like a ruthless
Even
bitch.
even after the match, Nozaki won, and she was about to get out of the ring, and Tommy was like, "Aren't you gonna like pat her on the head or something?" And she's like, "No," walked away.
Yeah.
like she like you could see Tommy like gesture to her like, "Are you gonna like shake her hand or do anything?" Nagisa just like laughs and walks away.
Yeah, her post show comments as well. She was like, "I'm tired of this shit. Stop giving me these bums. Like I want to wrestle real names." So she was really disrespectful to Kazuna.
Hey,
But yeah,
hey, hey,
Kazuna.
hey, hey, nose a bitch. We need to get them wins up, homegirl. We got don't challenge nothing again.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
challenge
like,
nobody yet.
yeah,
We need
you don't
these.
want to ask for that. You don't want these big matches.
You know you ain't winning yet. You know you
Yeah.
ain't winning nothing soon anytime soon. Let's keep
Gonna have
these
that Miami
wins.
Dolphins win-loss record, you know.
Yeah, let's get Rey Seto next up. You know what I mean? Like let's keep it at that level so we can just let's keep it there. Yeah. The issue with this match was mainly that like given their relationship, you can't do much with Kazuna here. Like
Yeah.
we didn't really see much for offense. I in a way I'm kind of nervous because she was doing a lot more kicks, which I was interested in. She's gotten better at them. I think you can agree with that. Uh, but I'm nervous that she's going to have to rewire her whole move set so that her back isn't active because she did like so many German suplexes. Like that was a big part of her stuff, and so many bridges and so many, and we didn't see any of that here really.
Mm.
So I'm worried that she's doing a complete pivot, which could really fuck up any momentum she had before her injury in terms of like growing her move set.
Yeah, I mean, she
But
definitely
again,
didn't look good
this
in
was
this match,
80-20.
so
This was
it definitely
80-20,
makes
so
sense.
it's like
Yeah.
I didn't expect a ton. And what she
Mhm.
did do, I did like I said, I thought the kicks looked better. A lot of it was just like positioning rust. Like she would kind of like be out of place for things and stuff like that, and that makes sense for someone who is clearly very nervous and coming off an injury. Um, like I don't hold that against her too heavily, but yeah, I'm a bit worried about moving forward if that sort of stuff is out of her move set, and if this is all she's gonna do, is the kind of like kick offense and like the comeback kick offense. That could be a bit of a problem, but we will
Mm.
see as she wrestles against more, you know, even keeled opponents. Because I mean, it's very famous that Nozaki was kind of Kazuna's mentor, uh, and so it's like Kazuna, if of anybody, is not going to get that much offense against Nozaki. You know what I mean? Like she
Yeah.
can get offense against most people, but Nozaki just isn't going to happen right now. So, and like you said, Nozaki's kind of her presence is all about being ruthless and fucking you up and not
Mm.
taking, not giving you an inch. So like I think this match made sense for what it was, and I am happy Kazuna's back. She's an absolute natural as a babyface. Like you just want to cheer for her, and the crowd was one like it was pretty loud. I know we're running long, but
No,
the,
I don't like Kazuna.
I know,
Even I was talking to Peps and she was like throwing these bad kicks and I was like, oh, she still sucks. So
you're a piece of shit.
uh,
Um, yeah, I don't know. You need to
I'm sorry.
fi- pray to whatever god you have because Kazuna's coming for you. But I thought that I think she's a natural babyface. I think that kind of carried a lot of this match was the crowd really caring for her and watching Nozaki just kind of obliterate her. Uh, there was one point in the match. Sorry, I know I'm going long, but there was one point in the match where Nozaki like fucking kicked her head off, and you could just see the people in the crowds just like, oh my god. And Nozaki tried to get like claps going. They're like, I think you just killed her. I'm not clapping right now. Like nobody wanted to clap because she just fucking died, and I thought that was very funny the way that everybody was very invested in Kazuna not dying here. She
Well, that
didn't
it
get
was her injury return. So yeah.
Yeah, like from yeah, that was probably bad
Yeah.
uh, wording. That's fine.
Um, yeah, our next match was Bozilla and Misa Matsui beating Utami and Chika Goto. Bozilla won with the pile driver on Goto in 8 minutes. They're really building up that pile driver finish for Bozilla. So you all know what that
Can't wait for
means.
Utami to kick out of it.
Utami is kicking out, yeah. Yeah, we've seen the Bozilla Utami stuff a lot.
I forget which
Um,
wrestler always used to say, "Hey, what's your finish?" Oh, I think it was Razor Ramon. What's your finish, kid? I can't wait to kick out of it.
the beast.
But yeah, whatever.
Um,
I
Mai
like this match.
Sakurai,
I thought it was fun.
Miko Ono, and
Oh, what?
Chanyota
Okay,
beat
okay.
Chiaki, Megaton, and Gigaton in 10 minutes. Chanyota won with the Nagata lock. Um,
Yep.
you could tell Chanyota wasn't up to pace, which I think is maybe the hardest part of like joining a new promotion, because we saw with Erina and Chanyota, there's just so many bodies moving at a different pace than you're used to. So there was points where she looked a little bit out of step. But when things slowed down, I think she was fine.
Not to be
Uh,
mean, I think Megaton made her look good. Uh,
yeah,
in that sense, where like I think Chanyota kind of the comedy clicked well for
yeah,
Chanyota.
they beat up
Obviously,
Chanyota with her book, and she was
yeah,
like, "Girl,
book
I'm gonna kill you."
and Megaton's kind of like a pervert. That's part of the gimmick, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
that's her thing now.
so
She grabbed
yeah,
Arena's boobs on the other show.
she grabbed Rhea's boobs a couple weeks ago.
That is
Last
not
week
kosher.
she grabbed yeah Chanyota's boobs here.
Yeah.
Gigaton also grabbed Chanyota's boobs here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Uh, yeah, these are things that are
Uh,
happening.
yeah. Very. I will admit, I did laugh at this match a lot more than
Oh
I
no, I
thought
thought this was really funny.
going
I
in.
think
Some of it was
I,
funny.
I'm upset that they're doing the Naoshikawa Gigaton thing. They're
Yeah.
continuing to do it. I think they should this should not be a thing by like May. Like I think by then this should have blown off in some way. Like and Naoshikawa should just be Naoshikawa. But I won't deny that like Gigaton and Chiaki have very funny chemistry of Chiaki just clearly being like, bro, I barely want this fucking weirdo in this goddamn faction. Who are you? Like I think that like works from a comedic standpoint especially. And I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
She played her role at perfection, even getting
Yeah.
knocked off the apron at one point by a
That was
overzealous
hilarious.
Gigaton.
I sent
Yeah.
that. It was Gigaton. Yeah, I sent that on my phone. I took a video of my TV because I thought it was so
It was
fucking funny,
absurd.
and I sent it to y'all. Yeah. Um, one other thing you skipped over it. Match before this, Misa Matsui, different hair. I think it pulls together the look. I appreciate it.
Okay, that's
That's my
good.
stance.
Um,
This match was also funny. I liked both these matches,
yeah.
the dark matches.
Yeah, no, I didn't hate this. Chanyota definitely probably needs some time to get up to speed with the tags. So maybe it's good that she got a comedy one in first. But yeah, there was no real progression though after, which is kind of disappointing. They're really stalling on the
I
factions
feel
and
like
stuff.
this is going to be a faction, though. I feel like Miku Mai and Chanyota make sense as hey.
Possibly, but like just get to it. That's kind
Mhm.
of my thing. But anyway, we then had a
Hey,
passion count.
this isn't weekly pro wrestling, man. This is how wrestling's supposed to be. Remember, this isn't
Yes.
weekly TV.
Yeah. Yes.
Somebody said that to me once, and it really annoyed
You're a dickhead.
me.
Get the passion countdown. The main event. Then Nai Takahashi beat Victoria Yuzuki in 9 minutes and 1 second with the Chanraka Hyaku.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it was the fucking
Jungle
become a
Buster
master.
variant, yeah.
The yeah.
Um, this was a great match. I thought Yuzuki was given room to take the fight to Nanai a lot more than people on her level usually do.
Mm.
Like she initiated the chair spot where they sit down and trade shots.
That was fucking
She was
badass.
kind of in the match until the very end. Obviously, Nanai had to put out this like crazy finishing move to get the win over her. So even though I was disappointed that Yuzuki didn't get at least a draw, I mean, she went 19 out of the 20 minutes, which is a lot more than most people get. It's more than Shozuki got, you know.
Mm.
Um, and Nanai had to really pull out her A game just to beat Yuzuki. So I think Yuzuki came away, despite losing, looking really, really good.
Yeah, no, I thought this was great. It was one of the best Yuzuki singles matches, probably the best with Yuzuki singles match to date. Um, Yeah, it was just so good. It was super well done. I mean, Yuzuki is not only is she just like really cool, I think she's just becoming a smarter wrestler. I noticed at one point she did a drop down, and instead of just like getting up from the drop down, she did a drop down and reached out and grabbed Nanai's ankle and got her in an ankle lock. And I was like, that's like, I tweeted it that it's like that's one of those moves, one of those like sequences that the nerds on Twitter would clip and talk about how masterful it is if they watched modern Joshi wrestling. Um, and I think that was like, like just there's just small stuff like that that I think she's really in tune with. Uh, she has great wrestling instincts, and I think that showed off here against one of the best ever in Nanai, who can really bring that out of someone. Um, yeah, I thought everything about this was great. I really loved it. It was yet another great match after a weekend of great matches, I would say. And yeah, I was super happy with what Yuzuki was able to bring to the table here. I will also say, before the match, Nanai went around the crowd and she, you know, went over to the Marvelous Girls and was doing the passion. They were all on the stage in the front row, and I was like, they've been there the whole time. And I rewinded back to the first match, and they were there, and I was amazed. I was like, oh wow, like I didn't even notice these motherfuckers. That was really funny. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just thought this match was great, and I'm very happy with what Yuzuki's been doing. Like I said, she has been scratching and crawling her way to being one of the best wrestlers of the year, and I think she deserves that, uh, that praise because she really is in form right now, more than a lot of other people in the world right now.
Yeah, no, that is fair. I think there's very few people who could have this kind of match with Nanai, and
Mm.
she did it, and I think she managed to look good in defeat in a very good way, and she left a lot of her stuff on the table, and she hit her moonsault, but she didn't really hit the moonsault symphony. So she had a very like smart
She also
performance.
didn't hit the Florida Keys, the straight jacket.
Yeah. And also she was a lot more like brawl heavy than she usually is. It was very much a
I loved that.
like I have to change up my game kind of thing. Like she was
Mhm.
throwing her onto the chairs and brawling outside and jumping off the little stand thing. Like she changed up her game to take it to Nanai really well.
When I saw the like energy she was putting into the crowd brawling, I was so impressed and happy. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, fuck yeah, okay. Uh, yeah, no, I mean, like, and especially, bookending this rivalry, quote unquote. Well, no, they're gonna run it back, but their two singles matches, I do feel like this really showed true progression from Yuzuki, between this and Fields Forever. Um,
Yeah.
because like I thought, and Yuzuki's mentioned it that it's like she was a bit disappointed in that match against Nanai. She feels like she could have done more, and this was her improving and showing her improvement in every single sense, going up against Nanai. So I was really happy with this match.
Alrighty. After the match, then Yuzuki cut a promo and said that she wants to be the opponent to Nana Momo at the Produce show on April 14th. She has an as yet unannounced tag partner, and she basically was like, "Hey, I'm going to make sure that they're especially hand chosen partner." So I'm very intrigued by who that is. I've seen some people say Sareee. I've pitched Mayu myself. I don't know if it would be Mayu though. Um, but obviously it'll be a big match to get against Nana Momo, and hopefully it's another great Yuzuki performance.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Mayu because I mean I would be surprised obviously, but I think Mayu, like, it would make sense that Mayu wants to wrestle Nanai before she retires.
Yeah.
And I doubt she's doing it on uh Shine Forever. So, I this is probably the best time to do it. But yeah, I mean, Sareee would be interesting. I think Maya would be interesting, and I'm just excited for that match. I mean, we're forgetting Yuzuki fucking Momoe Nakanishi minutes. Like, come
Hell
on,
yeah. No, that's gonna be
I'm
great.
ready. Yeah.
Promo got upstaged though because Nanai found the Marvelous wrestlers in the stands and called them to the ring. And
Oh yeah,
Utami was
I
like,
mentioned that
or
you went away for a second. It's very funny. They were right in the front row, and I
yeah,
didn't notice it until this match. And I went back to like the earlier matches, and I was like, oh yeah, they're just right
just
there.
chilling. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
hanging
thought they
out.
were just like hanging out because obviously at the Cork and they were there as well watching Nanai and they all did the sign with her. But here,
Takumi was getting
Takumi
into
was
it. She was
like,
watching. She was loving the match.
of course, yeah. But here, Takumi was like, "I want to start some shit. Like, let's go." And basically, they kickstarted a rivalry between Marigold and Marvelous. Takumi was kind of like, "Hey, who wants to team with me? We're gonna be at the Corkin." And all the Marvelous wrestlers put their hands up, and but Senka went a step further. She took off her clothes, had her singlet there, and did a double leg to Nanai.
And then pinned her.
Crazy
And
shit.
then pinned her. She said, "I know how
What
to
a
pin
beast,
motherfuckers, bro."
God. What a beast. Like, oh my God. And so, based on what Hasi was saying, it's going to be Takumi and Senka versus Nanai and somebody at Cork, and which maybe Chikagoto, because she was involved.
Mm.
I don't know if you noticed in the corner, Mio was sat on the apron because she's injured, and
I
Tommy was
did.
like
I
in
was
her
gonna
way,
bring this up,
protecting her. It was
bro.
lovely.
Tommy being the realest motherfucker in the room, being like, nobody touches the goat who is currently
Yeah.
injured and can't fight. Um, yeah, I fucking loved this entire thing because I mean, like, um, they were like talking and it kind of got a bit more tense, and then
Yeah.
Takumi was just like, "Does anybody fucking wrestle here? Hello? Are you gonna?" And then Rhea fucking jumps in and fucking pounces Rico. And I was like, holy, and then everything blew up from there, obviously. But yeah, like just out of nowhere, Rhea Seto just got in sooner than anybody and just fucking launched herself. Rhea, much like Act Asakawa, shot first and went after Rico. And I thought it was so beast. And the entire thing was beast. Sanka being like, I got the shit on me, and then jumping to Nai and Takumi calming her down, being like, why the fuck are you wearing your gear? Was
Yeah, that was
great. Like
crazy.
it was just so incredible. I've been waiting for this, obviously.
I loved
Um,
the little like Marigold group huddle after, where it was like, okay, we are the defenders here, because this is
mm.
exactly what a lot of the roster is needed to just sink into. And I thought it was very noticeable
and I
that it
mean
was a lot of the
on
trainees. It was, your hummingbirds, your Reyes,
mm.
Mirai, the Nai, like the training crew as well. Like this very much feels like a us versus them situation.
On Twitter, Chiaki tweeted that Dark Darkness Revolution also would like to throw their hat in the ring to beat the fuck out of some Marvelous
Ooh,
wrestlers.
that is
So
awesome. Yeah, they're gonna
yeah, no,
unify the roster here.
I loved the entire thing. I think it's really cool and a great way to start it. Even though like they all love Nanai and like that's why they like in canon they just really like watching Nanai wrestle, and Nanai's like, why you like watching me wrestle so much, man? Why are you obsessed with me? And they're like, I mean, what? And like that's how it popped off. That's hilarious. But yeah, I loved this. Thought it was tremendous. Really excited to see where it goes. Absolutely devastated that they decided to do this right, like as Miyamoto was in the middle of being injured.
Yes, she managed
Uh,
to be injured the last time Marvelous was like really working with Rossi, and she has done it
mhm.
again this time. So,
Maybe she just
incredible
doesn't
pattern.
fuck with Rossi. Like I
Who
was looking at
knows?
that, I was
Yeah,
like, I was like, did they wait for Mio to be injured to be like, okay, now we can work with this guy? But she's there, so it's not like
yeah,
you know. And that isn't our interesting thing. Is that usually when Marvelous has worked with Rossi, it's been like two of them
yeah.
like coming in and being like, oh, and then maybe, obviously Rin came in as a pinch hitter sort of thing for them when Takumi and Mei Hoshizuki at the time were challenging for belts and stuff like that. But like this is the first time that it's like a real and he mentioned that, Rossi mentioned that backstage that it's like this isn't just like,
Yeah, I
oh,
was
I'm
gonna bring
using
that
I'm
up.
using one of their
I like the
wrestlers for a show.
phrasing. I like the phrasing of
Yeah.
it all from everybody. Rossi was like, "This is an all-out war. This isn't like a friendly agreement. This is a battle." I think Takumi was like, "This is as much Nagayo versus Rossi as it is Marvelous versus Marigold. We are like opposite ideologies going against each other." And so I think they've framed this really well to kind
Which
of
is also very
provide a
funny
real feud.
because Chigusa wasn't there and was like, "Oh, y'all started this? Okay,
Yeah, her Twitter
shit,
was
I'm
so
down."
funny. She was like, "I let you guys go one time. I let you out of the house once, and you are fighting." It was incredible.
Yeah, I love everything about this. I'm super excited. I really hope it lasts and is strong enough, long enough for Mio to get involved because obviously Mio is just like she's that wrestler you want to see everybody wrestle,
Hmm.
frankly. More than like anybody in wrestling. Honestly, at this point, it's like if give me Mio versus literally anybody on the Marigold roster, and I'm interested. Um, but yeah, I mean, Sanka's a big part of this. She's one of the biggest, best rookies in the world, alongside fucking 70 other Joshi wrestlers right now. But she is legitimately great, and yeah, I'm stoked. Magenta against challenging for the tag belts is something I've been pitching for literally a year now. Um, like since Rossi Promotions didn't have a name, I was like, oh well, they should partner with Marvelous and Magenta could challenge. Like Magenta could be cool there. Um, so I'm stoked. Man, shouts out Marvelous.
Oh yeah. think it was a great end to the show. I thought the show itself was kind of okay, but then the ending angle kind of set them up for a crazy looking Corkin. I mean, that Corkin is Utami Bozilla, Sareee Yuzuki, Mai
Yep.
Erina, and Marvelous versus Nanai, and I think that is a very strong show to end the month. Um, and Marigold is taking a break, which I do appreciate about their schedule. I think giving it time to breathe, and they're going to take a week
Oh,
off, and
one last thing about that angle. Hummingbird and Nagisa Tachibana got actively physical.
yeah,
Obviously, Mio
that's cool.
Momono was protected because she has a very active injury, but Hummingbird was fighting with
Hmm.
them. Tachibana was a little bit less so, but also fighting with them. So that if you're a big HB fan, uh, she might be coming back, and
Hell yeah,
I'm excited to see her back. I want to see her progress past where she where she got before she got hurt.
that's
Ideally,
fair. All right, well, that is cool, and that's Marigold, and we'll be back to it in about a
there
week's
is a
time for the preview.
There's a Marvelous show this weekend, so I don't know if it's in Tokyo, but if it is, we might see another thing to kind of spur this on. Um,
Yeah, I'm not sure
but
how
we'll see.
much they'll be on Marvelous shows. I don't know. They will use it as much because Nagayo doesn't often use it. Even the Oz stuff like happens in Oz, and she gets like one match every now and again.
Well, no, but that's what I mean. They're not on the show, but I could see
But
fucking
even still, like they never seem to shoot angles on Marvelous shows. It's always the other company.
true.
So
We'll
I'm
we'll
not
see.
sure how active they'll be. But I think this is good, and it's nice that this feud is spreading beyond Monday Magic. I think it could help everybody, and I'm excited to see it. But we should wrap up because we've been gone about 2 hours now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wrap it
over
up.
2 hours. So it's been fun, but it ain't been real fun. So I
The
should probably
fuck?
close the show. What?
What do you mean it ain't been real fun?
I don't know. There's a YouTuber I watch who says that all the time. This
I
is
know
outro.
it's a
Um,
famous thing, but
oh, I see. Okay. But anyway, it's time to close the show unless
it's
you have any
it's
closing
been
remarks.
what is it? It's been a good time. It's been good. It's been real, but it hasn't been real good. That's what it is.
Oh, I see.
Like stuff
Okay.
like that. Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I might be releasing an article this week. I realized that this is the first week I haven't brought it up, and it's probably the week it'll drop. So that's lovely. But stay locked into my Twitter at xxichiban to see if I tweet about it because I will. It'll be on rightdon'tright.substack.com though. So
Oh yeah. All right.
it's about Marigold. Ooh, kind of, not
Um.
really.
Okay. Well, if you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in.
Shine forever, Stardom Questo. Isha.
Ijo.